The Abominable Love, a novel by Dr. A. Ahmed. This is an intriguing epic story which resonates with love, resilience, courage, and sacrifice. Copyrights. All rights are reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means without the prior written permission of the author, except by a reviewer, who may quote brief paragraphs for a review to be printed in a public newspaper, general magazine, school journal, or university article. This tale is a work of fiction, but the entire novel is based on a real love story between an Arab girl and an African boy. All names, characters, places, and events are either the product of the author's imagination or used literary. Therefore, any resemblance to actual people, living or dead, events, or locales is merely coincidental. Chapter 20. She is the fairy mermaid, El-Jinniya, the naked daughter of the devil. The escaped Muslim bride was able to read the cunning pastor's thoughts before he left her room. She correctly deduced that he wouldn't spare her from arrest by the police for a single hour after he learned about her dark past. He was desperately searching for a way to separate her from his stubborn son. Ilham learned from her third boyfriend, William, that his father would lose his position in the church as a pastor if he allowed them to marry. This is because the marriage of a Christian boy to a Muslim girl is against the teachings of the Holy Bible. Therefore, the wise Muslim girl, Insaf, decided to act quickly before she was trapped inside the house and got arrested by the police officers. At first, the frightened Muslim lover Ilham thought about calling her Christian lover, William. She wanted to inform him of her unpleasant meeting with his reverend father, Pastor David, and Mrs. Holly, but the fear of being arrested and handed over to the police authority made her abandon this dangerous idea. Then she opened her back window and jumped out. In a few steps, Ilham reached the wall. Then she climbed over it, jumped out, and ran away like a frightened gazelle pursued by a ferocious hyena and an insatiable wolf who wanted to devour her flesh and chew her bones. After a few more steps, she jumped over the fence like a cat and disappeared from the pastor's house forever. Since it is the first day of the month of Ramadan, many of the streets of Khartoum city became deserted at that time. The time of sunset has come, and all Muslims are in their homes waiting to hear the voice of the muezzin from the top of the minaret in the mosque calling for prayer, or to hear the sound of the Ramadan cannon being fired, to break their fast, eat their food, and drink their juices. The runaway Muslim girl, Insaf, has also been fasting since she ate her suhoor meal last night. She did not drink water or taste food for a long time. Her lips are dry and her stomach is empty. She has become once again a homeless girl, without money and on the streets. She continued walking along the road. She doesn't have anywhere to go. She followed the long street for a few hours until someone's footsteps caught her attention. She looked behind her and saw a man who looked like a criminal following her. His ugly face and red eyes stared at her like a hungry wolf who saw a stray deer. His large lips parted, and his yellow teeth revealed a malicious smile filled with overwhelming lust. She ignored him and quickened her steps. The pursuing man quickened his steps after her. Fortunately, she reached the main market area. There are still many people scattered here and there. Insaf knew that if she passed the market and entered a deserted place, the stalking man would assault and rape her. Therefore, she looked for a safe place to hide from him. She realized that she is near to the public washroom of the ladies. Many African women come in and go out. She entered one of the toilets and hid in its dirty room. She looked out the window across the road and saw the swaggering man still standing outside. Insaf decided to wait until the stalker loses hope and leaves. Many hours had passed as she sat in the stinking toilet and watched the ugly man waiting outside. In the middle of the night, the guard came and closed the ladies' public washroom gate from the outside with a huge padlock, and the place became like a prison. When the chasing man saw that the gate was closed, he concluded that the beautiful teenage girl had tricked him, sneaked out, and escaped. Insaf checked the window to see her stalker and discovered that he had left. She also left the toilet quickly and headed towards the gate. She is terrified when she pushed the gate and it wouldn't open for her. Her fear increased when she discovered that she is locked inside. Her mind's imagination is filled with horror stories about ghosts and zombies that haunt women inside public washroom at night. Trembling and shaking, she waited for the morning to come and release her from her temporary prison. Her nose inhaled a mixture of the foul odors of urine, feces, farts, vomit, and alcohol. The place is 1,000 times dirtier than Omdurman Hospital, which is as dirty as hell, where Ashraka was admitted in for 2 weeks while she was a lifeless corpse. She vomited several times, had a headache, and almost fainted before the morning came, and the guard rescued her from the public women's toilets that were emptied of drains and sewers. It was the scariest night Insaf had ever experienced in her entire life. On the next morning, the homeless Muslim girl Ilham left the filthy ladies' washroom with both hands over her nose. The second day brought her another fundamental problem. She could not breathe or walk due to thirst and hunger. She is afraid she might starve to death. Therefore, she decided to go to a restaurant and exchange her bracelet for food. There is no objection to her breaking her fast to preserve her life, because Islam allows the traveler and the sick person to break their fast. She is homeless on the streets, chased by the police, without shelter or money, and this is worse than the conditions of traveling and illness. She looked around for a restaurant, but realized that it is illegal to open any restaurant during fasting hours. Every restaurant must close its doors from sunrise to sunset in any Muslim country during the month of Ramadan. Any restaurant owner or food seller will be subject to imprisonment if he dares to defy this law during the holy month. Even non-Muslim infidels such as Christians, Jews, Hindus, and atheists are not allowed to sell food during the holy month of Ramadan. Then the fasting Muslim girl, Insaf, returned to the market and sold her bracelet for a few fruits. She picked up her fruits and looked for a hiding place to break her long fast. Everywhere she went she found people. Then Insaf crossed the Nile Street and headed to the riverbank. Even there, she saw loiterers, vagabonds, thugs, miscreants, and beggars spread out like black hedgehogs. She continued walking along the riverbank, hoping to find an empty shelter, but she found nothing. Therefore, she has to continue her fast. In the evening, the fasting Muslim girl sat under the shade of a Nima tree and waited impatiently for the sun to set so she could break her fast. Many beggars approached her and asked her for her fruits, but she turned them away. Before the sun completely disappeared below the horizon, the hungry Muslim girl Insaf hurriedly swallowed her fruits. Once this basic need for survival is resolved, she found herself facing another invincible problem. She wondered where she would spend her second night in the streets of Khartoum. She cannot sleep in the open like the beggars and homeless loiterers who surround her on all sides. They are all males, and there are no women or children with them. They will attack her, gang rape her, and prey on her body like vultures that devour their prey when she is helpless. She had already spotted 3 of the bad guys sitting close to her and looking at her like hyenas waiting for their prey to fall asleep. The beautiful and sexy girl, Insaf, quickly got to her feet and walked away. The 3 thugs followed her. These imposters followed her like hungry wolves who found a lost sheep. Insaf quickened her steps and walked aimlessly along the riverbank. The miscreants started running after her. She walked further than them and then started running at full speed. The 3 bad men chased her as if she were a street prostitute who refused to hand over her body to them. While she is running, Insaf realized that the crooks are pushing her toward a secluded place. She knew if she couldn't find a rescuer, they would catch her and gang rape her all night long. They might kill her after raping her. At that difficult moment, a strange idea came to her mind, and she decided to try it. Instead of running along the riverbank, she changed direction and headed towards a more deserted and emptier place. The thugs are surprised by her wrong move. They thought she might be a crazy girl. But that's not enough reason for them to leave her alone. Even if she escaped from the insane asylum, as long as she has a pussy between her thighs, they determined to fuck her by their dicks all night and until the morning. Then they saw her go under the bridge into a dark place. They thought she is like an ostrich that hides its head in the sand and leaves the rest of its body visible, thinking that its pursuers have not seen her. The place where she is hiding from them is under the bridge and is dark so they could not see her body. They want to jump on top of her sexy body and enjoy gang raping her all night long. They know she's there, so they decide to find her. The three bastards are haunting her while each one of them has his cock standing like the cannon of Ramadan inside his dirty underwear. What a fun way to gang rape a beautiful and sexy teen girl in such a dark place like a cave. They arrived at the dark place that looked like a bottomless pit under the bridge in which they knew she is hiding from them. As soon as the three crooks got close enough, the runaway bride, Insaf, jumped out of her hiding place and ran towards them. The miscreants are stunned and frightened to death when they saw her running towards them. She is completely naked without a shred of clothing on her sexy body until they saw the black pubic hair of her pussy and her bare breasts, like two pomegranate fruits filled with milk. One of the three lustful men shouted loudly, "She is the fairy mermaid, Alginia, the daughter of the naked devil." The other two thugs believed his words and ran for their lives from the so-called naked daughter of Satan. They passed the naked fugitive bride, Insaf, like bullets fired from the barrel of a gun, and fled in the opposite direction. The third imposter, who made this astonishing discovery about the naked fairy, Alginia, the daughter of the devil, also turned his back on her and fled like a frightened rabid dog chased by a ferocious cat. The escaping girl Ilham chased her three pursuers, as if the magic has turned against the magician and the genie of Aladdin's lamp returned to pursue him until he got arrested and taken to where he is imprisoned for thousands of years. The naked bride Insaf stayed there for a while until she became quite sure that they were afraid of her and would not return to rape her while she was undressed and ready for them. Then she returned to her hiding place and got dressed. Inside that dark, brutal, and terrifying place under the bridge, the runaway and homeless bride, Insaf Sulla al-Junaid, spent her second night in the streets of Khartoum. Chapter 21. The runaway bride meets Hajj Abdullah. Ilham's third day began with severe pain due to headache, fever, hunger, and loss of hope. She is afraid that she will collapse in the street if her illness worsens. She pulled her weak and tired body out from under the big bridge and walked slowly up the riverbank. She saw many people going to work and students going to school. Those students reminded her of her school days at her girls' high school and her encounter with her first lover, Ding, on the way. She shed hot tears when she remembered the severe punishment of her first abominable love with the so-called accursed African Negro slave had caused her. She wished she had never met him and fallen in love with him. His abominable love brought on her all those disasters and made her a murderous wife, a fugitive, and a homeless girl. She followed the students on Nile Street as they are going to school, and she is a student who has been expelled from school forever. Every now and then, Ilham stopped for resting. Sometimes, she would sit for long hours, other times for only a few minutes. Wherever she went, she was harassed by a crook or a beggar. As the day wore on, the fever and headache became unbearable. She believed that her illness was caused by a lack of food and improper sleep. She longs for a good supply of fresh food and decent shelter. She has nothing of value left to sell or exchange for food. If she could, she would have sold the clothes on her body and the shoes on her feet. However, she realized that if she walked barefoot, people would think she is a crazy girl. She knows that no one will give her food without expecting her to give him her body for sex. She decided that she would rather starve to death than sell what is between her thighs to men. The homeless girl, Ilham, continued her meaningless walk through the streets of the capital city. When the sunset came, she started dragging her weak body as if her feet were firmly planted on the ground. Her headache became unbearable. The fever in her body worsened to the point that it affected her brain and caused her to hallucinate. By then, the streets are empty. Women are inside their homes preparing food and drinks, while men gathered in groups in the streets to break their fast of Ramadan. She went through some of those groups, but no one invited her to join them because she is a woman. Those Muslim men believe that having a woman among them would defile them and invalidates their prayers. Due to the severe headache that took over her brain and the unbearable hunger pangs, the street girl, Ilham, has been forced to search for a thrown morsel of bread, spoiled fruit, or crumbs of rotten food inside the garbage container. Therefore, the homeless girl bent her back with 2 stray dogs and searched inside the garbage container for something to eat. The container emits a foul odor and is infested with flies, mice, lizards, cockroaches, and other insects. While she is desperately searching for something to quench her thirst and satisfy her hunger, Ilham heard the voice of a man saying the Islamic Shahada in a loud voice, "I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger of God." The man repeated the aforementioned Islamic creed 3 times before the homeless Muslim girl, Ilham, raised her head and looked at the owner of the voice. She saw an old man who has a long beard. He wears bright and beautiful white clothes. His head is covered with a large white turban. He holds a prayer beads in his left hand and a big staff in his right hand. "What are you doing here, my daughter? Are you a human or a demon?" Ilham could not answer his questions, but she kept looking at him with eyes full of fear. "In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful, I seek refuge in Allah from the accursed Satan." The runaway and homeless girl continued to look at him with eyes filled with tears. "How does a free Arab daughter like you eat spoiled food from a garbage can? Who are you, my daughter? Where do you come from? What is your name?" The old man asked his questions in great astonishment the beautiful white Arab girl. "My name is Aman Sola Al-Junaid." Insaf lied again about her real name, and this is the 5th time she has changed her name. From fairness to benevolence, then brightness, blessings, and inspiration, and now it has become faith. Insaf, Iqbal, Ishraka, Inam, Ilham, and Aman. Each name she chose bore the first letter of her real name, Insaf. "Where did you come from?" "I am from Kassala City." "Where is your home? Who are your parents?" "I don't have a home in this city. I have no family, relatives, or acquaintances in this Sudanese capital. I don't have money. I ran away from home and my city of Kassala because my drunken brother wanted to force me to marry his evil friend. My parents died in a traffic accident when I was 5 years old. Why don't you go and knock on the doors of believing Muslims and tell them about your insurmountable problem?" No one would believe me. "My dear Arab daughter, Aman, please get out of this dirty place and come with me to my house. I am a married Muslim man and I fear God. I have 3 daughters who have the same age as you, and my wife also fears God." "No, uncle, I don't want to go to anyone's house. Let me die of hunger and disease just as a stray dog dies in the street. I am tired of being chased and running from city to city, from house to house, and from street to street. Wherever I went, people did not believe me. They sheltered me for a while, then took advantage of me and expelled me back to the streets where I came from." When Aman said these words, she prostrated herself on the piles of dirt and garbage and began to cry. The kind old man approached her and patted her shoulder lovingly. "Don't talk like that, my daughter Aman. Do not despair of God's mercy, and as your honorable name Aman means, you must have faith in the one who created you in a free Arab family. Come with me to my house. We have more food and rooms than we need." "No, uncle, I don't want to follow you to your home and meet your family. I don't want to burden you with my insurmountable problem. Please, my daughter Aman, rebuke Satan and come with me. Your face reveals to me that you are a free Arab girl from a noble family. A bad girl does not eat from a garbage can if she is needy and hungry, but rather eats from what she earns by selling her thighs and breasts to lustful men who do not fear God and have no mercy in their hearts." Then the kind old man took Aman's left hand and gently helped her to her feet. Without further questioning, he took her out of the dirty trash container. When they went out into the street, he walked in front of her. The runaway and homeless girl, Aman, followed him, her head bowed down, and tears falling from her beautiful eyes onto her rosy cheeks like drops of heavy rain in the middle of autumn. The honorable old man's house is near to where Aman was found. When they arrived home, he knocked on the door with his long stick. "Yes, Hajj Abdullah," a woman's voice answered. "Hurry, Miriam, and open the door." The door immediately opened from the inside. A woman in her late 40s appeared at the door. She wears an Islamic dress, abaya, and hijab. Aman could only see her round face. Her face resembles that of a religious woman. "Listen, Hajja Maryam, I have only a few minutes left to pray in the mosque. Take this noble Arab girl and give her food to eat and juice to drink. Don't ask her any questions until I get back. Okay, Hajj Abdullah. Welcome, get in, my daughter. Hajj Abdullah turned his back and walked a few steps. Then he stopped and shouted at the top of his voice, "Her name is Iman Sulla al-Junaid." He added that she is a strange girl who came from the city of Kassala. Iman followed Haja Maryam inside the house compound. The first sight that caught her attention are three beautiful girls sitting on a large prayer rug in a row. The three girls are wrapped in Islamic clothes like their mother. They are on their knees in prayer. Their mother directed the new girl to a large table. The table is filled with all kinds of food, fruits, salads, and juice drinks. Do not feel shy, Iman. Eat and drink as if you are at home. I am the wife of Hajj Abdullah and the mother of his children. I am leading my daughters in the Ramadan Tarawih prayers. I stopped praying to open the door for you and my husband. When Haja Maryam whispered these words in Iman's ear, she went quietly and sat in front of her daughters. Then she started reciting some Quranic verses. The hungry guest, Iman, quickly washed her hands and began to quench the pangs of her hunger. As she eats with both hands, her eyes constantly look at the three girls and their mother. Their prayers are so long that Iman began to worry that they might fall and hurt their foreheads from the many changes they made, standing, prostrating, and kneeling. The more they prayed, the more the guest ate and drank until she almost finished everything she found on the big table. When their prayers ended, Iman saw the three girls standing in a line and walking in one formation as if they are soldiers in a military parade, and they stood in front of her. The older girl said, "Peace be upon you, my sister. My name is Safa Abdullah." The strange girl replied, "Peace be upon you. My name is Iman Sulla al-Junaid." The middle girl said, "Peace be upon you. My name is Marwa Abdullah." Iman said, "Peace be upon you." The younger girl said, "Peace be upon you. My name is Mona Abdullah." "Peace be upon you, Mona." After the three sisters greeted the strange guest, Iman, they returned in the same way and occupied the prayer rug. Each of them opened a copy of the Quran and began reciting some verses with their mother. The Muslim girl Iman sat silently and listened intently to the musical voices reciting the Quran together. The voices of the girls and their mother brought the runaway bride, Insaf, back to the days when she used to break her fast with her mother, Haja Amina, and read a portion of the Quran every day. She wished those days could last forever. She felt happy next to her mother. She loved her father, Hajj Sulla al-Junaid, too. She was impatiently waiting for his return from the mosque after performing Tarawih prayers during the month of Ramadan. Insaf loved his loud voice when he was calm and not angry, but his anger turned him into an evil demon. She was always thrilled when she saw his long beard and big mustache. Everything went well until she fell in love with the black-faced African Negro boy, Deng. Her father and mother became her sworn enemies. She wondered if one of those three beautiful sisters, daughters of Hajj Abdullah and Haja Maryam, would experience what she is going through. Before she could answer the question, she heard a loud knock on the outside door. Iman understood that Hajj Abdullah has returned from the mosque. His wife, Haja Maryam, ran to the door and opened it. Iman saw the good old man entering the house. Then he came and sat in front of her. He smiled at her and said politely, "Peace be upon you, my daughter." Iman replied, "Peace be upon you, Uncle Abdullah. How do you feel now?" "Much better. However, still I have a hot fever and severe headache. Now, my daughter, we have to take you to the doctor. Go with your sister Safa, wash in the bathroom, and change your dress. I have already asked a taxi driver to take you, my wife, and my daughter to the doctor." "Thank you, Uncle, for your kindness and love, and now after eating at your house, I feel a little better. However, I still feel hot in my body, and my head is giving me terrible pain." "Hurry up, my daughter Safa. Give your sister Iman one of your clean dresses and show her where the bathroom is." The older daughter asked the new girl, Iman, very quietly and with polite words, to follow her. Shortly after, Safa returned and joined her family. Then Hajj Abdullah narrated in a sad voice to his family the dirty place in the garbage container near his house where he found the noble, homeless Arab girl, Iman Silla al-Junaid, eating rotten waste, accompanied by 2 emaciated stray dogs. Haja Miriam said in a voice with a mixture of sadness and pride. The Arab proverb says, "An Arab young woman becomes hungry and eats from her thighs," but this noble Arab girl preferred to eat rotten waste from a garbage container instead of selling her thighs to men as a prostitute. Haj Abdullah said, "Yes, this is what I told her when I found her searching the garbage for leftover food to quench her hunger. If she were a bad girl, she would not eat from the garbage. Rather, she would have sold her body to lustful men who do not fear God." Chapter 22. The She-Male Boy Hamada. After that black day, in which she was recovered from the garbage container, the days passed beautifully and wonderfully for the Kaslawian guest, Iman Silla al-Junaid, at Haj Abdullah's house. The strange girl became known among the 3 sisters as the Kaslawian girl because she claimed that she had come to Khartoum city to escape from her drunken brother in the city of Kassala. In a fleeting time, she developed a great love for the 3 daughters and their parents. The good family members also showed her the same love and respect. During the month of Ramadan, Iman's spirituality became active, and she became serious about her religious commitment. She has become a devout Muslim girl, praying 5 times a day and fasting during the holy month regularly with her new family. She wore the Islamic abaya and hijab and decided to keep them always. While she was at the Christian pastor's house, she took off her hijab and began wearing shirts and pants like a Christian girl. As the days passed, Iman gradually began to understand Haj Abdullah's daughters. She found that they, like other females, have hearts, feelings, and attraction towards the opposite sex. They all have male lovers and communicate with them secretly. However, they did not meet their boyfriends or talk to them in person. Only during engagement parties or weddings and other occasions such as circumcision of boys or genital mutilation of girls did the sisters get opportunities to exchange glances with them and send them flying kisses from a distance. Except for occasional glances and writing letters, Haj Abdullah's daughters never communicated with their secret lovers. Often, the lovers would pass each other in the streets without speaking or greeting each other. Only if the situation permits, lovers exchange smiles and passionate flying kisses from a safe distance. Those Muslim sisters would not allow their male lovers to come within 1 meter of their bodies for fear of falling into adultery, becoming pregnant illegally, bringing scandal to the family, and being slain in honor killings at the hands of their father, Abdullah. Their mother warned them not to let any boy near their bodies because she believed in the Sudanese proverb, which says keep the egg away from the stone and the female at distance from the male. At first, the Kaslawian girl Iman was confused about how the Khartoumian girls send and receive romantic messages to and from their boyfriends. The 3 sisters hesitated to reveal this secret until they were sure that the guest, Iman, was a trustworthy girl. The daughter, Safa, whispered to Iman one day, "It is through our neighbor Hamada." Mona said, laughing, "He is a she-male, like a girl, gay boy, or sodomite young man." "Yes, he takes our messages to our boyfriends and brings us their responses," Marwa said. Safa concluded her speech by saying, "We reward him with sweet words and gifts such as chocolates." Iman met the boy Hamada on the 2nd day of her stay at Haj Abdullah's house. He is the family's neighbor. He is a young man in his late 20s. He often visits the family and spends a lot of time talking with the 3 daughters and their mother. At first, Iman did not like him because he had strong feminine tendencies. He talks like a girl, walks like a girl, takes care of his body like a girl, and gossips like a woman. The only difference between him and the female is his clothes. Therefore, Haj Abdullah and his wife entrust him with the care of their daughters as if he is a eunuch slave taking care of the harems in the caliph's palace. He is not a homosexual, a womanizer, or a faggot. Mona said to Iman the other day, "Our neighbor Hamada is not harmful to us. He's just like a woman. He never does anything sexual or thinks bad thoughts about us. He doesn't even have sexual feelings for us like the other boys do. He is completely a woman inside," Marwa said. "How do you know that?" Iman asked in astonishment. Marwa replied, "Because I sat near him many times when we were alone in his house, and he did not feel anything towards me." Mona said while laughing, "I doubt that he has an erect penis that can enter a girl's pussy and fuck her like a boy." Safa said, "My mother and father know that he is gay, and that is why they never ask him not to sit with us." Marwa said, "Our parents do not allow any other boy to enter the women's section of our house and mingle with us except Hamada." Mona said, "Believe me, Iman, even our male cousins are not allowed to come to the women's section here." "Yes, Mona is right," Marwa agreed. "Sometimes, we don't see our cousins when they come to visit us. They just sit in the men's section and meet and talk with our father, Haj Abdullah Othman. Only our female cousins and other feminine relatives can come to the women's section and meet us." Iman also started talking to Hamada. She began to admire him because he always made her laugh when he imitated the women of the neighbors in their speech, the way they walked, and the way they spoke. Sometimes, he would tease one of the three sisters because of the way she talked, walked, and ate. Haja Maryam loves Hamada because he always brings her gossip and news from other families. He knows everything because he goes to every house and mixes only with women. For this reason, every woman loves spending time with Hamada. He knows which girl loves which boy, which wife is cheating on her husband with her neighbor's man, which husband is secretly planning to marry a second wife alongside his first wife, which family is good or which family is bad, and so on. Hamada is unemployed, does not like to work, and does not go to school. He is known as the boy who has all the time and complete freedom as a bird in the open sky. He spends most of his time wandering from one door to another, mingling with the girls like the dog of Al-Sura, moving from one door to another. The navel dog, or the dog of Al-Sura in Sudanese folklore, is the dog that does not fuck any female dog in the neighborhood and does not let other dogs fuck the other bitches. Hamada lost his parents in a house fire when he was a young child. His real name is Muhammad Hussein, but everyone calls him Hamada or Hamudi. His aunt, Haja Shada, raised him. She is the sister of his late father, Hussein. Haja Shada lives in another house alone. She is a divorced wife and has no children. Only a pet dog and a kitten live with her in her house. She is an extraordinarily rich woman. She claimed to be running a lucrative import and export business. She travels every 3 or 4 months to Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Dubai, and other Gulf countries. She visited India, China, Japan, and many European countries such as the United Kingdom, France, and Germany more than once. From time to time, she comes to visit her elderly mother, Haja Mona, who lives with her nephew Hamada. After divorcing her husband, she insisted that she would not allow any human being to live with her, except for her dog, James, and her cat, Samira. After she divorced and expelled her husband out of her life, she refused to let her mother, Mona, and her nephew, Hamada, live with her in her luxurious house. She houses them and supports them in her second house, which is adjacent to the house of Haj Abdullah Othman. Whenever she stopped by to check on them, she stopped and visited Haja Maryam and her daughters at their home. On her last visit, she met the strange girl, Iman, and liked her very much. Haja Shada asked in a sweet voice, as if she is a spoiled teenage girl, "Who is this beautiful moon who looks like Kamar Arbatashar or 14th moon?" The truth of the matter is that the extremely wealthy woman's age is 50 years, but she always lies and claims that she is 25 years old. If you ask her how old you are, darling, she will tell you that I am 25-year-old and next year I will be 24-year-old. Haja Maryam answered her. Her name is Iman Salah al-Junaid. She is a guest who came to visit us from the city of Kassala. Haja Shada said eagerly, "Of course, Kassala city has the most beautiful girls in Sudan. I visited that tourist city 7 times and was amazed by the beauty of the women and nature there. The women in Kassala have white complexions, therefore they are not like our Sudanese women who are as black as burnt coals. So, this beautiful Kaslawian girl, Iman, is white and have a beautiful face and lovely eyes, like an Indian girl." Iman replied, "Thank you, Auntie Shada." The wealthy lady said in astonishment, "How dare you call me Auntie Shada? No one in this house has ever told you that I visited the house of God in Mecca and performed the Hajj rituals 7 times. I challenge any man or woman in this city to surpass me in the number of pilgrimages I had made to the holy Kaaba. It is better, my sweetheart Aman, that you call me Haja Shada before I show you my Sudanese passport. When Haja Shada bragged about her number of pilgrimages to the house of God in Mecca, Haja Maryam, her daughters, and Hamada burst out laughing. Yes, laugh, but I have the highest record for being the guest of God Auraman in his ancient home in Saudi Arabia. I also challenge anyone to surpass me in the number of foreign countries I have seen. When she realized that the laughter increased, Haja Shada said proudly, I know that women are jealous of me because I am an exceptionally beautiful lady, and men envy me because I am an extremely rich woman. Even though I am a divorcee and do not have a husband or son living with me in my luxurious palace, except for a pet dog and a lovely cat which I named her Samira. I work hard and make more money than anyone else in this city. Hamada said in a feminine voice as if he is a spoiled girl, Shame on you, Haja Shada. You told me that I am your only son. Yes, you are my only son, Hamudi, but I mean to say a son was created in my womb and came out of my pussy. I was a barren wife and, because of that, my fucking gay husband divorced me. I am happy that he married 2 prostituted women after me, and neither of them bore him a son or a daughter. The new guest, Iman, said innocently, maybe he is the barren husband who cannot have children. You're right, sweet Mimi, but you know men are useless. They blame everything on women. However, let this middle finger of mine be inside the ass of any one of them. When Haja Shada said those obscene words and raised her middle finger as if she wanted to insert it into the anus of a naked man kneeling in front of her, and then taking it out of his mouth like kazuk, the house shook with laughter. Haja Maryam laughed until tears came out of her eyes. The effeminate boy, Hamada, fell to his knees on the ground and clutched his stomach as if he were afraid he would die from laughter. The 3 sisters hugged each other while screaming with hysterical laughter that they couldn't control. Yes, Haja Shada continued, and let this other finger be in the ass of every rotten homosexual man. Dirty and useless men. They fart at night next to their wives without having sex with them. They like to eat, fill their big bellies like pregnant women, and sleep. Then they blame their women when they catch them having sex with other men like gays do. Each one has a cock and fucking a pussy of another woman, but not his wife's cunt. Haja Maryam said to her while she is still laughing, Please, Haja Shada, stop saying that. You said that you were a pilgrim woman and had visited the house of God 7 times, so you are supposed to respect the holiness of this blessed month. Haja Shada asked sarcastically, So what? If I tell the truth about men, will this invalidate my Hajj rituals and cause me to break my fast during the day in the month of Ramadan or spoil my 7 pilgrimages to the house of God? Look at them. Each one of them wants to sleep with 2 or 3 women as wives. Those women are competing to get his dick into each one's pussy and to fuck her even once a night or once a week, but he won't do it. The wife smokes her body with sandalwood, massages her skin with dilka, and removes her pubic hair from her pussy every day, but her man's cock does not become erect even if she stands completely naked before him, and he sleeps next to her like a girl. And if a woman has sex with 2 men at the same time, they will kill her as a prostitute, because Sharia law says the bastard child to the bed and the prostitute gets the stone and put to death? Why does the Book of God, the Holy Quran, allow a man to have sex with 4 women at the same time as wives, but not allow a woman to have sex with 2 men together as husbands? Why polygamy is halal for men and polyandry is haram for women? Please, Haja Shada, don't spoil our fast with your obscene words. Please talk about something else. Leave the men alone. I know you are defending men because you are the only woman who has a perfect husband, and he does not have more than 1 wife. No one is perfect except God. I know that, but at least your husband only sleeps with 1 woman, so he only sticks his cock in your pussy at night. Hamada asked his aunt while still laughing, What about your husband who divorced you? That useless man would sleep with the devil's wife if he had the chance to insert his cock into her pussy. He married 3 women and is still pursuing the wives of his neighbors and friends. These obnoxious words of Haja Shada made Haja Maryam fell from her chair to the ground. She screamed with uncontrollable laughter. Listen to my wise advice, my sweet Princess Aman, said the pilgrim woman to the beautiful Kazlawian girl. The more you obey men, the more they betray you. Never believe their deceptive words. Iman felt embarrassed by Haja Shatha's advice. Now tell me, my sweet Iman, are you engaged to a fiancé but ran away from him, or are you married to an old man and escaped from him on your first wedding night before he tasted your sweetness? Insaf has become surprised by her correct information, as if she is reading her thoughts about her Arab fiancé, Samir Wad Masood, and her arranged marriage to the old man, Haj Taha, whom she killed on their first wedding night and fled from his corpse. However, she has concluded that the abnormal Haja Shatha might have just guessed this information about her and has no knowledge of her dark past. Therefore, she said to her in a voice full of fear and surprise, I am neither engaged nor married yet. That's good for you. If I were you, I would not allow any man to marry me and control me. Don't give your body to any man unless you are sure he will not go to another woman after stealing your virginity. Haja Maryam intervened. Do not listen, Iman, to this woman. She's crazy. The tree of divorce fell on her. Well, I am divorced and crazy, and the axe of divorce has fallen on my head, as envious women say about me. Then Iman, go ahead and listen to the unwise advice of Haja Maryam. In a few years, you will regret it when you remember that you rejected my wise advice. The gossip and chatter between the 6 women and the effeminate boy has been suddenly interrupted by Haj Abdullah's knock on the outside door. Haja Maryam has run to open the door, while Hamada and his auntie Shadu escaped through a small hole in the wall separating the 2 houses.